So I wanted to make a video about just kind of checking up on what I've done so far on my TSM Beginner series. One thing that I want to start off the video with is this little trick in Northrend. So if you're in Dalaran, the Northrend version, if you're needing, so some of these recipes call for like Eternal Fire. Well, that's 120 gold on the auction house. Eternal Shadow right now is pretty high, so you might be able to buy some of the um, crystallized version. So if you buy 10 of the crystallized of the element, then you can convert that into an Eternal. The other way you can do it is if you have a frozen orb, you can come here, you can buy a frozen orb for 75 gold, and it looks like there might be some on the auction house for 50 gold. So let's first do that. So if you're um, exalted here, which eventually you should get to that point, hopefully. Uh, Frozen orb. Then that'll bring the cost down to 60 gold each. So right now, since I don't have the exalted, I'm going to just so I'm paying 75 gold. So if I can find them under 75 gold, then that's probably a good deal for now. One thing that I've done in the materials, so if you come into materials, frozen orb, I have actually, okay, well it's picking up the vendor price. So one thing you could do in here is put in 75 gold. That way, if you haven't visited the vendor in a while, or whatever the case might be, then it will default to the 75 gold instead of whatever value you have in there. So you come up to this guy here, Frozo the Renowned, and basically you can trade one frozen orb for any of these items here. So, but I will probably go ahead and check to see if I've can get the other ingredients cheaper. But that's just one little trick in Northrend. The other thing is, if you're needing Arctic furs, there's a guy over here. Uh, what's his name? Bragg. So you can trade in 10 heavy borean leather, which I assume what you're going to have to do is you'll get your borean leather, you'll convert that all to heavy borean leather, and then you can buy some Arctic fur. So maybe that might be a little bit better deal than paying, like right now, 300 gold. So, but that's for later on when I need it for some leatherworking recipes. All right, so back to the catching up stuff. So let's go ahead and get on the mountain here. So I've steadily been adding stuff to the inventory and trying to post in the morning and the evening. And right now I've got a pretty good, and this is with like vanilla, and now I'm kind of starting a little bit more into the Northrend Wrath stuff. I decided to skip the Burning Crusade, which is actually, there's some really good stuff there as well to flip. One of the things I've done, so under tailoring, since I've maxed out tailoring, I've changed the operation. So under the crafting operation, we'll go to there. So I've created a vanilla tailoring operation. So I still have my what I was doing in the tailoring. So it's like if the max sales rate, or if the sale rate is over a certain amount, then I'm going to make 2. Otherwise, I'm going to make 1. And then with vanilla tailoring, since I've maxed it out, I've kind of upped this rate a little bit. However, I've decided that I'm going to actually, what I probably should start doing is, instead of um, making one, or I take that back. So if the sale rate is greater than this, then we make one. Otherwise, we make 0. How about that? So I don't bother with the lower level. Let me just see. So yeah, that's 2, 1, 1, 0. The other thing here is I can maybe start upping the minimum profit required. So that was what I did here. So as I changed it from 10 gold to 25 gold. So the goal was to kind of level tailoring, and now maybe I want to just focus more on the stuff that gives me a little bit more better return, has a better odds of selling, and so that's the other thing that you'll start running into, is you'll start running into bag space issues. So right now, that's not too bad space in my bags, but if you look at how many auctions I have, I've got 483 auctions. So that's and some of those are duplicates, but when those expire, those just fill up my bags. And the problem is I've only got like 60 spaces in the bag. So you're going to start running out of space, and you're going to want to maybe kind of trim how much you're posting every day. 400 is probably a good number. Any more than that, then it takes a little bit more time. Although it might not be bad to do, because a lot of times, like on my other account or other realm, I've got 1,000 auctions, so I try to get those to where they're maybe offset, so it's only maybe about 250 in the morning, 250 in the evening, and then since I'm doing 48-hour auctions, they'll hopefully alternate, but that's not always the case. So and so once I anyway, moving on, with leatherworking, I'm going to be I went ahead and started Northrend leatherworking, but I don't have my farmer here to get any of the Borean leather. I might consider buying some off the auction house to get started here. I'm still working on leveling up vanilla leatherworking. And you can see I've got a lot of stuff on my list. The other thing is I've started a blacksmith, and part of the reason for that is there's in vanilla, there's a lot of recipes that call for crafted items from the other professions, so blacksmithing, alchemy, and I'm trying to maybe avoid having to overpay for some of these items. This is actually kind of coming down to a more reasonable rate, so that might not be bad to start maybe buy an iron buckle instead of working on other characters. So when people say, hey, just which profession should I focus on, well, that's I would say you kind of need to focus on all of them, but like I've primarily have been doing tailoring. Leatherworking is a little bit secondary, but if you're going to probably want to have more than one character, or so as you kind of go along, you can pick up some other professions and maybe kind of reduce the price that you're wanting to pay. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so some of these other ones. Swiftness potion, which actually is really cheap, so I'll probably might as well pick one of those up off the auction house if it's there. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding down the shift key, and it should populate it in there. Well, it's 5 gold, so I may end up buying this anyway, but I don't have any heavy leather at the moment, so Um, I think that's mostly it. What you're going to want to do is, as you kind of go along, you're going to want to continue making small changes to your operations. You know, uh, I'm kind of constantly, not constantly, but every once in a while, I'll come back in here and maybe take a look. Do I need to tighten up my numbers a little bit to make them um, what I would say a little bit more reasonable? Like this item here, 2,000 gold looks about right. So anyway, I've got company coming in, so I shall talk to y'all later, and y'all have a great day. Thanks.